Well, I can't say good morning, it's good afternoon. We're 25 minutes, more than that, almost 30 minutes late, 35 minutes late, so we're going to move along. We're going to try to change this meeting.
Good, how are you?
Get away from the day of all those other meetings, because we're always late. So we're going to try to work on it, because I apologize to the business people that have to come and stand out here for an hour and sit here, so we'll try to work it out.
You'd be surprised,
All right,
I could.
I'd like to get a motion for the minutes of February 27th. Ms. Frazier, Mr. Stroud, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. I'm going to turn it right over to Joanne. We got a couple of things that really need to be explained and talked about today, so go ahead, Joe.
Okay, a couple of some really good things on the agenda today that we're very excited about. I did just get back from the NYSEA conference earlier this week, New York State Travel Industry Association, and it's a good opportunity for me to network with my peers throughout the state. There were over 300 people there. Gavin Landry, Ross Levi, Anna Packman from New York State, Isle of New York Tourism were there, and some good sessions to just find out what everyone else is doing at their destinations. Some of the sessions included craft beverage, bicycling, digital advertising, and the buzzword seemed to be virtual reality. So I will, if anyone would like to come down to the office afterward, Ad Workshop distributed, this is called Google Cardboard, and this is cutting edge, so you move from maybe 3D with the glasses back in the day, and then 360, so now we're at virtual reality. So you would download a video on your phone, and you would place it inside the Google Cardboard, and then you would hold it up and watch the video on the Google Cardboard. So can you imagine this from a tourism destination point of view? So the New York Times sent out 1 million of these to their subscribers, and there's a New York Times channel just for virtual reality. So you go to the channel, you choose the news story you want to watch. There could be a travel destination channel. I'm going to advertise with that channel. I want to go to Lake George. I'm going to tap there, and I'm going to watch virtual reality. So this one happens to be some Lake Placid-based. There's downhill skiing, there's the ski jumping, there's ice skating, there's bobsledding. So if you've ever been on some of those things, or maybe if you haven't, then you'll be able to experience it. So you can watch like this, and then you can see the ski jumper over your head, and then you're looking down at the ice skater that's pirouetting, and it's just something that I think we need to be aware of. We're not going to jump into it tomorrow, but some destinations have. So we'll see how this progresses. It's, you know, making the video is the cost, and then getting this Google Cardboard into the hands of the consumer is the other consideration. So it was just exciting to see new things that are kind of cutting edge.
Now, does that take the place of going there?
Well, it's a try before you buy. I mean, that could be the case for some people, but we want that we would say, wow, this is really so cool. I want to go to the Lake George area. And we have cool things like parasailing or a hot air balloon ride or a cruise on the lake or hiking that, you know, you may see in our television commercial, but it's just right there on the screen, and it's not that experience.
Zip line.
Zip line. That would be perfect. So it was exciting to, you know, just learn what some of the new industry trends were. So let's see, on our agenda we have talked about before our social media contract, and the contract with Trampoline is over at the end of this month. We do a little bit of in-house social media. We are doing some of the blog writing. We have talked about this with our advisory group, and at this point the contract will end on the 30th of the month. So we don't want to be in a situation where we're without social media. It's a really important platform to be in. So what we'd like to do is just extend the contract through the end of the year, and that will give us time to reevaluate what we need in those specs for social media. There's also been a suggestion from our advisory group to look into PR, which we do a little bit of in the office, but we don't have a contract for PR. So I think we need to look at that a little more carefully. And I think we could take that one line item out of the budget and maybe reappropriate that to social media and PR. But we want to take our time and do the right thing. And we just don't want to be without social media. Trampoline has done a good job for us. And I think it's more than just popping up a quick post. I mean, there's a message behind it, and I think they've curated that for us. So at this point, I don't necessarily need a resolution request, but with the approval from the committee, I would like to extend that through the end of the year and then work on restructuring.
So you don't need a...
Rachel, do you have a
Maybe
question?
consensus of the committee.
Rachel?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess my concern is that we have been discussing this. Gosh, I feel like it's been at least a year. I remember you had great input, and that was a long time ago. So I'm a little disappointed that we're at this point, and it expires at the end of this month, and we don't have another solution other than we don't want to be without it, and let's extend it the rest of the year. I'd be much more comfortable with perhaps a 2-month extension or 3 months and let you come up with a solution. But I think this should have been talked about a long time ago.
Well, couple things to that. If we extend it, the duration, that doesn't prevent us from terminating it early.
At any
on
point.
a solution. So that's covered there. And our advisory board brought some really neat info to the table that could dovetail nicely with this. In effect, PR and getting into channels in New York City, our primary markets, that we hadn't really vetted thoroughly yet. So after discussions with them, the thought process was, let's make sure we're covered for the summer season, our busiest peak season, and use that time to wrap into this contract some new parameters such as PR, linking to media outlets in the city, and getting some different type of messaging in front of them, which we think, again, with the advisory board was a sound decision.
I don't disagree with you. I just wish it came earlier, and I understand this just got formed, and so there's a lot of really valuable input from that.
Absolutely.
But instead, I hope we're having this discussion in September and October on what to do about the contract that would be going out at the end of the year, so that we are covered way ahead of time. And I take it that would be sufficient time.
Oh, absolutely.
So that we're ready to go January 1. We've been busy in the department, and we're working on the new website. So I'd like to think that we focus on a project and we do a really good job of it. We're looking at the booking engine RFP as well. So there are a lot of things on the table. So, and I know that we have talked about this, but we want to do the right things. And once that contract, and if we move ahead with the PR contract, then they'll be in place for 3 or 4 years, and then it'll work for us in that respect.
All right, any other questions on that? Everybody happy we move along that way? The only other question I have, did we notify Trampoline?
We did, and they were
I don't
certainly
remember.
understanding of that.
So
All right.
there's no cost involved that we would need to pass along on to...
We're able to
Finance, I
renew the
think.
contract for 3 additional years, so it's
Okay.
just a matter of a renewal going out, and they accept it. But then we can give them, I think it was 60 days written notice when we're ready to end that contract.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Just I'm confused then. Are we renewing for 3 years, or
No,
we're
no.
renewing?
No.
We're
Just
Up
just
to.
until the end of this calendar year.
Right, we're just extending it. We had planned to extend it
At
until
the current
December
cost.
31st.
Correct.
Okay, no, to clarify completely, this contract is not on a calendar year cycle.
Okay.
It came halfway through the year. So one of the good things about working with these guys to develop a new contract is that it can hopefully fall in line with fiscal year reporting.
And
So
budget
we
time.
would
okay.
technically pick this up renew it for 1 total year,
We
and then
go by it.
the termination would fall, we would
Okay.
know that we have
December
something in
31.
place, terminate it 60 days ahead of
Okay,
time.
thank you.
So that, yeah.
All right, can we go on to the next one?
Okay. The Smith Trend results, the committee has been receiving the weekly and the monthly. So I would, and I'm not sure if you click through the pages on the monthly, I think moving forward when I receive the monthly, I might put a couple of little notes in there. So the first page that you pull up is daily by month, so you can see every day of the month how we compared to last year. And I think that can be beneficial when we're looking at specific events. How was this certain weekend or vacation week period or Americade this year versus Americade last year. But on the third tab, it does give us a year-to-date comparison of not only occupancy and RevPAR and ADR, but our supply and demand. So we like to look at the demand numbers, demand for number of rooms in the county, and 2016 to 2017, January to March, is up 7.1%. So we did have a little bit better winter, certainly this year than last year, but it still wasn't over the top, so that, there could be room for growth again next year. We also have the forecast report, which this is the first time we've ever received the forecast, and we didn't get that until mid-February or so, but we're right about on par with the forecast. So that's where we are with Smith Trend, and at the new, we should, in about 2 weeks, get the April report, and then I'll take a look at that, and maybe we'll put some notes in there. Click on this tab, look for that number, and it'll give you an indication of our performance year to date. Something that was not on my agenda, but I certainly want to update you on, is our media plan for the summer. We will see our television commercial this morning. So that just will begin playing, airing May 1, and that also coordinates nicely with our digital promotion. So I have a schedule that will take us throughout the end of July. We're working together with The Great Escape on the cooperative program. That will, I have the dates here, it's mid-June through mid-July. Help me out. But the way we set up the purchasing for that, we will buy a little bit ahead of The Great Escape plan and a little bit on the other end of in some similar markets. So we'll just keep the message out there, but we won't be in the same market at the same exact time and have there be a duplication. So I think that'll work out nicely for us. So the launch of the new website and the launch of the commercial are playing right into the launch of the summer season and our summer media plan.
Yeah, to add to that, we've been working very closely on this program with The Great Escape. And in conjunction with all the work we put into the past about restructuring our media buy contract, this will be hands down the best year for media coverage for this area. So I anticipate seeing some results. This goes again with looking at the data that while we have put an emphasis on the shoulder seasons and we've seen some results there, we have noticed that the summer season has taken a little bit of a dip. So if anything's going to rectify that, it would be these two programs running together. So we're in new markets. The markets that they're in, we bought around, which that means is that we will just pick new markets to be in. We front-loaded our end and back-loaded that and let them take care of the middle section. So this is a really robust media program. And I think when we present the Six Flags data and their program, you'll see the proof in that.
A couple of the new markets that we're in this year are Boston and Montreal. So we had gotten away from Montreal because the exchange rate was so high, but there is traffic to our website that's showing hits from the Montreal area and also from Boston. And we didn't really focus on Boston before, but there's a lot of traffic to our website, so maybe that is an area that we need to focus on. So it's not a lot, it's I don't know, 10% or so, but it's just delving into some new markets and trying it, see how it does this year, and then we'll take a step back and reevaluate. So I would like to show you our new website. We're very excited about this, and we launched it last Friday. So it's been up and running over the weekend. There are already quite a few inquiries. People have been to the site and leaving names and addresses, and we've already seen a lot of traffic to the site over the weekend. A really big, bold image on the front cover. You can see the mountains and lakes, and we know that people are traveling for that. They want to come to the Adirondacks. We're their first step into the Adirondacks. A beautiful, iconic hotel, and an attraction down here at the steamboats. So as we scroll down a little bit, the curtain will draw up, and we have our original vacation story. We're going to drive home that original vacation. This is where people have been vacationing for 200 years. They come back year after year with their families. We know that. The Lake George Steamboat Company is celebrating 200 years this year. So if you hover over this and you can click, you can read the complete story, which is one of our blog articles. But if you just scroll down a little bit, you can read a little synopsis here. On the other side, on my left, this bar here is another story, an article that was written by Eric, our on-staff copywriter. So we can change these out as different events come up or anything seasonal, or you can click right here and explore the full story of, and this is Cruising on the Lake and the anniversary of the Steamboat Company. So let's scroll down a little bit. Oh, I went too fast. So the different content blocks kind of slide in from one side, and then Top Attractions, Travel Guide, and Getting Here slide in from the other side. So it's very interactive. Over here, certainly we can change out all of these just in a quick click, depending on what's going on. So the first rip-roaring adventure is whitewater rafting article. You can click here and read more. The Whitewater Derby is one of our first big events coming up this weekend. And this happened to be like in April. It was not quite time to get outside. It could be a rainy day, things to do article. So I'll just click on Whitewater Derby and we'll take a...
Before you get too far on that, the development of this is all about serving content, as much content as we can, as fast as possible. People consume content so quick now. Everybody does consume content. You read through stuff so quick, and what's next, what's next? So the foundation of this is being able to take advantage of our on-staff writer, and then our guest writers. If anybody in the community says, hey, I got this really cool story, I want to serve it up, we can do that. And we want to give as much as we can to the consumer to say, hey, this is a spot that I'm very interested in, and wow, they sealed the deal with all these other extra things. Another big component of this is to lure consumers into other facets. So if perhaps you are on a interest in whitewater rafting, and you hit our site from Google Analytics, you search in Google and you come to us through whitewater rafting, we're going to be serving up other related content. So now we can maybe pull you from whitewater rafting over to craft beverages, and you can highlight as much in this other diverse array of things to do. So we'll be doing that throughout the site, serving content up all over, cross-linking content, and just trying to get people to navigate and see what we have to offer. So that's mostly the foundation of this website, the homepage here.
And the text on these content blocks and within all of the pages has all been search engine optimized. So we'll use the phrases and the words that we know Google will be searching out and serve that to folks that are looking for it. And also within the stories, I'll click on one of the stories, but there'll be hyperlinks. So maybe you read about craft beverage, and instead of it taking you away from the site, it'll take you back to our site, keep you on the site, and serve you up some more information. So we try to just keep them on the site and keep them interested in clicking around. I'll just click here to show you what one of the event listings will look like, and I didn't do that fast enough. So we've got 60th anniversary for whitewater rafting. That's a big deal for the folks up in North Creek. An image on the top of each listing. Some pertinent information over here, visit the website, a description, and then a photo gallery and a map. So there's quite a bit of information that can be here for just one single event. So we want this to be the place that you go, you get some good information, and then you can make a decision on whether you want to attend that event. And certainly you do. So let's just scroll down to the next little block. Again, we can swap these portals out, or these different little promotional blocks. So on the left-hand side, upcoming event, Americade. You can click and learn more about Americade, other events that are going on. Elvis is in May, Wine Festival in June. I can just click on those, and there's a little interactive rollover with the images to catch your attention. You can scroll down and click on either of those events and get more information. Over on the right-hand side, this happens to be another whitewater rafting, a little image in the back with a screen over it. I like outdoors and whitewater rafting. I might like some easy hiking trails. So we can swap in and out articles, events, and anything that's on our site at any time. And then just a footer at the bottom, some of our business partners and our navigation. So let's just take a look at some of the navigation. So activities. I think I'd like to click on Top Attractions.
Yep.
So
Just go back to that pull down. Yep. So all of this is developed with certainly some insight from the tourism department, but more importantly, really delving into Google Analytics, both how our old site functions, how Google's pinging certain things and hot topics. A lot of research went into how the consumer is navigating your site even before they're there. So these topics are hot topics that constantly come up in Google searches. So that's how, instead of structuring our site based on what we want to serve up, it's consumer-oriented, which is a vastly different approach than it was in the past, and I think a much better approach. Our goal is to get the consumer where they want to be and consuming that information in as few clicks as possible.
Okay, so let's see. I happened to click on top attractions. So, for example, and there aren't a lot, you know, we narrowed the field so that these are the top attractions. Certainly people can look at the other categories. Lots of good information and an image with every business listing. And if you don't see an image with a business listing or your listing, we just need to have a good high quality image to upload, and that would make our site so much better. But our staff has been out there crawling to get updated information and images for as many of these properties as we can. So we click on Learn More and we'll find out what's going on. I like that nice little bounce of the image up top for Adirondack Extreme. So a little bit of hero text right here will grab your attention. What's this all about? Some more details over here, need to know information, a gallery of images, and a YouTube video at the bottom, and then the Google Maps. One thing that will be important on the lodging page, but can also apply to this lodging attraction, is Book Now. If you want to make a reservation to go up to Adirondack Extreme, click Now and reserve right here. And we can track how many times people are clicking that Book Now button to see if we're pushing them off to other sites.
Yeah, and that's a very important point, is the trackability here, because in the past, the program has been all built on mailable leads. How many leads are we sending to the properties that they can send their brochure mailed out to? And that's changed, and that's consistent with the industry. It's all digital now, so the Book Now button is our kind of tally mark to say, you know, the consumer, these are the people that are going to your site. And you don't have a one-to-one interaction. You don't have to mail them a brochure. When they click that Book Now button, they're now on your site. So your site should be doing all that selling for you. And they're still considered a lead, and that's a qualified lead right there, someone that's actively pursued your site and left our site to go to yours. So the metrics behind that are going to be interesting to see and follow and understand why certain things are getting more traffic than others. But it's definitely a shift from mailable leads to digital tracking now.
And we will get a report. We actually got a report first thing this morning. It's automated, that we can see, you know, what kind of engagement there was and how many people have visited the site over the weekend. And I was really encouraged first thing this morning because the site was only up this weekend. So as our digital ads and our television ads are out there, we'll see increased traffic to our site, which should translate to increased traffic to all of our businesses. I'll show you events, and then we'll click over to lodging.
Can I
Yep.
ask a question about the events? Is that calendar merged, like with Kristen, as she's keeping the calendar for events in the county? I mean, are you guys able to merge those calendars to make sure that they're all...
We're doing the input on our side. If there's an event, I mean, we should be aware of any event that Kristen is aware of. I'd like to think of us as the clearinghouse for countywide events. Ellen in our office does a pretty good job, but if there's something that needs to, like we went to the Festival Commons, and I think that all Festival Commons events
So
are
you
up
guys all
there.
are on the same page in terms of
Should
those.
be.
I know you're keeping that. That was one of your goals too. Sure. Okay.
So let's see. Again, all of this text has been written by our in-house copywriter that we're thrilled to have. The text has been optimized, and then some of the links that you see here, do you love cars and motorcycles? Well, that will take you to cars and motorcycle events, or the Balloon Festival, or Memorial Day or 4th of July parades, but it'll keep you on our website providing that information. Or you can search a specific event, search a type of event, or a specific date. So let me just click on top events, which are pretty much our annual events. And again, lots of good solid info here, and people should be able to, Americade in particular, there's volumes of information. But we want to provide as much as we can, so they stay on our site.
For this Americade listing, that's a multi-day event, so we can break it out into multi-day segments now. Little things like this, you know, they're not that, you know, they should be done, which is why we are doing them. So we lacked that capability And again, this goes back to, we were kind of in dire straits with our web contract. The company just fizzled out, stopped. So a year and a half ago, at this table, we talked and discussed what we wanted in a web contract. We allocated the necessary resources to make sure that the anchor piece, the biggest functioning part of your marketing program, has the resources necessary to do these things. So a lot of these things are, and it's happening, and a lot of these things are things that should have been done, but now we can concretely say they are done, and we're ready to take on the next set of issues.
All right, let me just show you the lodging page here before we get to the commercial. So these are the categories that, again, were determined by traffic patterns that people are most often searching for. A lovely header up there, some text with some embedded links. And I'm just going to call up one property in particular that I know. There are a number of different little functions and modules that you can include. And this property, I think we kind of filled in all the blanks on. So Queensbury Hotel, your need to know information. Of course, I want to go there, so I'm going to click Learn More. Image pops up, and some lovely text, amenities.
Just for the sake of
Okay.
working, everybody can see the site, how it works.
A gallery of images here, and aside from looking at the gallery here, you are able to, where's the little arrow, click through the gallery this way, and you can do this on any of the listings. And a couple of packages. So if you have a package deal specific, there is on the drop-down, you can click on packages and see packages for any property, but if your hotel specifically has a package, we can feature it here.
Yeah, and that can, it's a very versatile block there. So Queensbury Hotel is located in Glens Falls, and right around the corner, practically in walking distance, is the Hyde Collection. There's a huge craft beverage scene down there, so it makes sense to start serving up relevant content to these properties. So, it's a lot of management, but it's stuff that's going to pay off, right? Because this helps the consumer find an activity that's central to where they are that they might not have known about, and cross-linking. Then they're on the Hyde, and the Hyde might have another. Now you get caught in the spiral of the web, and before you know it, you're on a completely different section that you didn't even know you'd ever intended to search for at the beginning. So that's kind of the goal of this, is just keep them going around and around and find some content that could be interesting.
Should businesses contact you, or who should they contact directly? Is there a point person?
Events
that might
should
be-
contact Ellen.
Okay.
Any content related stuff, I think we're funneling through Aaron at this point. But if they have graphics questions or video questions, certainly anybody in our office can handle that.
And we have not sent out a newsletter in a little while, so we were waiting for one big, we would like to serve this out to our properties, and certainly they need to know it's here. So we'll send that out, we'll send them the commercial, we'll invite them to come in and get our travel guides, but we'll let them know, hey, so we're kind of, maybe we'll call this first week our soft launch, and we'll work through any bugs that we find, and then next week we'll send it out to them and ask them to take a look at their properties. Oh, my image is fuzzy, you need a higher resolution image, here you go, I'll send it to Peter, or I'll send it to Aaron. Or my event is not up there, my event's up there and it doesn't have an image. We need input from our local businesses. We also thought in the coming weeks we'd like to get out on the road and deliver our travel guides, which we've talked about before. I was just at the NICEA conference, I walked in my room and there was the guide, things to do while you're in Lake Placid. So as much as possible, we would like our guides in the hotels. I know some of the branded hotels can only have a limited number of pieces in their rooms. But while we're out there, we meet the people. If we don't have a picture for your property, or if there's some story we want to write about a particular community that we're in, that's our opportunity to be out there taking pictures, grab that content. And, I know because I've been here forever, but some of our newer staff or younger staff may not have been into each of these little communities. So that's a good opportunity for them to get out there and grab some of these assets for us.
One of the big features that we wanted to build into this site is the idea of almost like a microsite. So if a small business doesn't have the resources to put together a robust website, this website, the county site here, can facilitate every single thing that they need in order to complete a sale. So if you want to showcase some of your property stuff, we have a photo gallery for you. You can put a YouTube video together. This stuff is going to be SEO'd. So you're getting micro SEO for your property without sinking a huge investment into a website. Ideally, what we'd want is for them to, maybe a startup could use this as a starting point, with a point of contact being a phone call, and if down the road, when they have the budget there, they can build out a site on their own. But the whole idea is that you could potentially have a startup business with their only web presence being this, and have it still be successful and competitive in today's market.
And the URL at the top is just visit lakegeorge.com/lodging/Queensbury Hotel. So they could put that right out there.
And then another feature to go along with that is a lot of places have more assets or easier access to assets than others. So for instance, a YouTube video or even photography, right? So we built this site so that those modules collapse out and the consumer would never know that. It doesn't look like there's a big void, but this property is missing something.
So if there were no packages down here, you wouldn't obviously know that.
Or in this particular case, I think we had an old YouTube video.
Yeah, we did have an old video.
We took that out because it wasn't appropriate, and it just collapses like it was never there. So there's not a huge glaring hole in a listing. And I think that's important for some of the smaller properties as they start to build up some resources. They'll fit the part, but in the meantime, we're not doing them a disservice.
I think having the map is an important aspect of it.
And I think that's, I think Claudia is here. I think she had called. So some of the rollout, and again, get the site launched now because we have our summer campaign and we need this up and running for that. But some of the smaller things in kind of like a phase 1B are looking at perhaps a location services. And this is more for your website access, which this site has been built
on your phone.
Around mobile access. Because people are going to be here on their phone and hopefully using us as a on-the-go resources. How far am I from this? How far am I from that? And you are 2.2 miles or a 5-minute drive can all be built into this. So the mapping function, all that stuff is very important.
And as long as I'm here, I clicked on the Book Now button on Adirondack Extreme, and absolutely I'd like to have that on as many of our lodging properties as possible. So Book Now will take you to book directly with the Queensbury Hotel. We are talking about, we're looking at a booking engine. Julie over in purchasing is working with us on we looked at a couple of other RFPs from other counties to kind of come up with a list of specifications. There are some where you can have like a Trivago type setup. Okay, I want to be in downtown Glens Falls on these dates, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These will be your choices. Some of the booking engines keep you on a booking engine site, but some of them redirect you directly to the property site. So we'll look at all of those when it'll be a little while before it comes in, but in the meantime, we have the Book Direct button on our site.
And even the information that we're going to glean from this is invaluable because we'll be able to see user traffic patterns. So if we see a noticeable amount of clicks on Book Now on our site, and they're going to a property, and the property's not capturing them, there's some sort of issue there. It could be the pages aren't loading, and we can identify that and work with properties to say, hey, look, we have multiple clicks coming your way, and your capture rate's low. Is there a hang-up? Is it not working on mobile? Is it not? Is there some sort of too much data? Sometimes people don't want to fill out a whole lot of stuff to get information. So it's just things like that we can start looking into now and have access to.
So this is phase 1. Phase 2, we know that there's some, pieces to the puzzle we need to put together. We need to develop Tanya's motor coach and travel trade pages. We need to have a media and a press page, which we did have in the past, but it certainly needs to be developed. And we're going to be sharing the email addresses with our business partners. We do already have the privacy policy that's been approved by the county attorney, and it'll just be a checkbox, share with our business partners. So we'll probably try that with just a couple of people, maybe Sam, who's been instrumental in this request over the years, but roll it out slowly, see how it works, and then we'll roll it out to all of our lodging properties. And then they can contact these folks either by postal mail with a brochure if they want, or by email, which will be certainly more cost effective. So that's most of the website. Certainly you can click here to receive a brochure. You can leave an email address.
There's a small typo.
Oh, no, well, where was that, the Queensbury Hotel?
On the previous page.
Okay, let me hit the back button.
We're trying to iron all these out.
Well,
The Queensbury Hotel is highly regarded as the town centerpiece of the city.
well, there you go.
Aren't you good neighbors?
Some minor.
We'll have that changed in about 10 minutes for you, as soon as we can get back down to admin. Okay. So, take a look at the website. We'll be sharing that with all of our partners next week. And we'd like to show you our new television commercial, if I can minimize
So the launch of this was critical because we wanted, again, we had, all kind of goes together with what we've been working on here, both policy-wise and department-wise. We've restructured our media buy contracts and really sunk our teeth into a more robust plan when it comes to developing the TV spot and getting on a cycle of a 3-year cycle with that, developing a summer spot, then a fall spot, and then a winter spot. We allocated more funding to our media buy program for more coverage, to get the message out in front of more people. And everything that media buy and this new spot will do is will direct people back to our Anchor Beasley site. So launching that on May 1st was incredibly important, and getting the spot trafficked that same week is also important. And we hit both those deadlines.
So the footage that you see here, most of it was obtained last summer through that video contract. And we'll be on a 3-year cycle. This year we'll get obtain fall assets, and then the following year we'll have winter assets, and then we'll be able to use those commercials on a 3-year, cyclical basis. We needed there were a couple of little placeholders there, with some rafting, or this scene here where the kids were having fun packing up the car. So Eric and Aaron and I from the office, we took turns, but we went and watched to see how this happens. And it's interesting to see everything that goes on behind the scenes. And you have the production company and the videographer and the voiceover, but that's what this contract did, was to bring all of those things together. So we just stood back and we watched, and you watch them take about 30 takes on it, and then it shows up in your commercials. So it's really good to see the final
From
output.
a workflow perspective, being in this and knowing the process so thoroughly, this year's production value was so streamlined and so efficient. All those efficiencies we made up for, that we talked about in the contract, came to fruition. We had a audio house that I would have to go down there, pick out the voice talent, do the recording with that one company, and they did a fantastic job. But then they would have to package that up and deliver to the production house. We had a videographer that I had to go out and separately do the shoot with and compose it all, and then he had to package those files up and send it to the production house. I would then go down to the production house and craft storyboards with them and do the editing and and then they would send. A lot of my time was spent elsewhere, and it was the only person that knew the grand vision was me. So now when we centralized all that and got one production company to do it all, from the start to the finish, they knew the plan, they knew the vision, they knew everything, and their professional opinion was incredibly valuable to us. The things that we started on in the beginning changed as we worked through the process, and that's because they were there from the start, there to finish. So that contract, merging all 3 of those contracts together into one, produced. I'm very happy with the results, both from a workflow perspective and the tangible results. Another thing that was big is that in conjunction with us developing our unique, famous, our original vacation, it enabled us to take this TV spot and flip around the perspective. Before, we were always about showing every single thing that we had. So events, dining, attractions, all wonderful things, but not necessarily unique to us. What is unique to us is that original vacation. And we can start building a story around that. Why is that? What makes it unique? What makes it fun? And we can tie it back together in this piece of why do people vacation? What makes us important? And then all those attractions play a piece in that role. So it's kind of flipped about those. Instead of highlighting the attractions as we have all these things, we are the original vacation. And all these things help play a part in that. So I hope that you'll see a marked difference between the fast-paced choppiness of trying to fit everything into a commercial in years past into a much more slower narrative, but tugging on the heartstrings. people making decisions to come take a vacation.
And I think you'll feel that when you watch it, that there's some emotion there. And I've watched it, over and over again, and I just really enjoy the people having fun while they're vacationing in the Lake George area. So that's the connection that we want to make. So this will...
Yeah, and one last thing before, again, with that contract being consolidated, we were able to start tailoring spots. So we just have one spot to show you here today, but there's a 15-second family-oriented one, a 15-second fun-oriented one, aimed at some more adventurous type of stuff. The 60-second family one, and then a whole VOD, a 90-second one that really, expands some shots and shows a lot of the scenery and the things that we have to do here. So all of that is made possible, by that contract consolidation.
And we'll use those different, the family or the adventure or the outdoor in different markets digitally. And also on television is 15 and 30, and some of the longer ones will be pre-roll or online. So this is our 60-second spot.
Why does a vacation call to us? Why do we aspire to leave the life we build, if only for a week? Is it to break away from the mundane, to refresh, to recharge? Is it to see sights unseen, or to feel the rush of what life has to offer? Is it for time away, or is it for time together? Is it for the moments you'll remember, or a place where you can forget? Why do we vacation? It's time being together. It's all here. The Lake George area. The original vacation is calling.
And the call to action is our website. So we would like folks to come to our website and check it all out and come on up and visit. Sure. Try again.
Why does a vacation call to us? Why do we aspire to leave the life we build, if only for a week? Is it to break away from the mundane, to refresh, to recharge? Is it to see sights unseen, or to feel the rush of what life has to offer? Is it for time away, or is it for time together? Is it for the moments you'll remember, or a place where you can forget? Why do we vacation? It's time being together. It's all here. The Lake George area. The original vacation is calling.
Got some comments on it? How do you like it?
I'd like to go.
That's what I want to hear.
They worked hard on it. They really did. So, all right, you want to keep going because we...
Okay, Tanya's got a little update and Kristen's got an update. That's hard to follow.
Okay, Tanya, you're up.
I have two things to discuss. One being, I don't think I have shared this before, maybe with Matt when you came down to the office, but this is my working motor coach lead list. I just thought it would be interesting for you guys to take a look at it. I'm working on about 45 since January. And you can see, where the lead came from, was it a show, was it, a direct call, was it through the website. They're all labeled either warm, hot, or booked. So it just gives you a little insight onto what I'm working on. Every Friday I pick a few that are hot or warm and do some email follow-up. And then, so that's usually every Friday. I come back on Monday with some emails to be able to update this. So just what I'm working on a regular basis. So. Other than that, we have some international projects that are going on. Over the past few years, I think since 2014, I Love New York has really been putting a major effort into increasing awareness of the state on a global level. I have a statistic here. Economic impact of New York State international tourism reached $18.9 billion in 2014, with nearly 15 million international visitors that year. And what they're really focusing on is the repeat visitor. You know, we know that people come into New York City and Niagara Falls, but they're concentrating on the ones that have been here multiple times and are filtering upstate. So to meet that demand, I Love New York has actually opened offices in Germany, UK, and 4 in China. They're located in the bigger cities, Beijing, Shanghai, but they also reach travel agents and tour operators in 20 other cities in China. So we've been working with I Love New York in New York, and we've also been working with the office in China. And we've come up with a 12-day FAM tour, and I passed the itinerary around for you guys to take a look at. They will be with us only one day, May 5th, and we're going to be highlighting not only Lake George Village, but the city of Glens Falls. Amy Collins has been really great at rallying her stakeholders for the opportunity, so she's going to meet the group as an ambassador for the city. But I also want to thank some of the following properties that offered their complimentary either rooms or admissions to their attractions, and those are the Hyde Collection. Queensbury Hotel is going to offer rooms and breakfast. We're going to do a tour of the city of Glens Falls. We're doing dinner at 190 Grill and Cinema. And there's a real big Jimmer Fredette tie-in to China. He has had a big impact on basketball there, so we're going to run an ESPN clip at dinner so that they can kind of see the tie-in for Jimmer and the city of Glens Falls. And then we're doing a boat cruise on Love is on Lake George and with a Lake George Village tour and some outlet shopping. So what will be the result of the FAM is we hope they will go back to China with their USB and their translation that I Love New York China did for us. This is a description of our area, but they also translated all of the attractions that they're visiting into Mandarin. So they'll have descriptions, they'll have images, and then I Love New York China and I Love New York in the city will then facilitate follow-up as far as getting them to actually build an itinerary to our area. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting. We've got translators, we've got 3 support people. So
and there's not a lot of cost on our behalf. I Love New York has decided that a couple of these markets are worth investing in, and we're making the connection with that industry partner in I Love New York or Anne Marie down in Saratoga to put this FAM together. And then we have some comps from our local businesses. And the translation was free, but it's just, tiptoeing into those international markets a little bit. There is some hesitation, certainly, globally in terms of travel, but I think people feel that they have that trusted when they're with a group tour like this, that there is some, just that proven, I know where I'm going, the itinerary set, and I feel comfortable about where I'm going. And to Tanya's point that they come into New York City and now they want to go beyond New York, they tend to vacation more than once and come back to New York and back to New York. Well, I've done it twice, and where do I go? And they've been to other parts of the state, but they haven't been up our way. So we're pulling together to get them
and I Love New York kind of, they screen them to be tour operators that actually have an interest in upstate New York. So they're very qualified, and I did get a couple of emails and texts over the weekend that it's a young group, but they're really into the FAM, they're excited. So I think just the variation of all the different destinations that they're going to see. I mean, they're going to start in New York City, they're going to end up in Buffalo, but they're going to see the Adirondacks, they're going to see Saratoga Springs, and all of those destinations, those areas all have something different to offer. So I'm excited about it, and hopefully we'll have some good bookings, and they'll build itineraries, and we'll come. So I think that's it for me.
Cool.
All right. Any questions? All right, we'll move on to Kristen Hanifin, CVV.
get in here with the minutes.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. In front of you, you have the March and April CVB report. Fairly lengthy, a lot of busy things going on, gearing up for spring, for summer, even into fall, and then moving into 2018, 2019, 2020. So there's a lot of great things going on. Want to give you just sort of some highlights and some overview in terms of just sort of breakout things that have been going on. In terms of shows, I was at the National Association of Sport Commission symposium in March, the 26th through the 31st. It had about 1,500 sport commissions, CVBs, and rights holders that attended. I held 24 meetings at that time, which resulted in about 8 to 10 hot leads, about 5 warm, a few others being worked on. Some of those include American Cornhole Association, FLW Fishing for their high school tournament, NXT Women's Lacrosse Camp, Pro Watercross and Waterboards, Soul Pose, which is the creator of Color Run, you might have heard of Color Run, Rev 3 Triathlon, and a Winter Spartan Race. Really great positive meetings, a lot of ongoing discussions with those, hoping to set up some site visits within the next 4 to 6 months with a lot of these really great hot leads. Today I'm heading actually down to New York City for Connect New York Marketplace. This is with associations and corporates primarily for the meetings and conventions market within the tri-state area. It's a brand new meeting marketplace for us, so I'll be meeting with about 31 meeting planners tomorrow, hopefully bring back some feedback and some new meetings and conventions for and RFPs in the coming weeks. On June 1st, I'll be partnering up with the Fort William Henry, Lake George Steamboat Company, Courtyard Marriott, Stony Creek, Queensbury, Sagamore, and the Great Escape for the Empire State Society of Association Executive Convention and Expo down at the Albany Convention Center. We will all be working together. We actually have a very large booth. I've got about 8 altogether, and we'll be showcasing a very unique and different way to sort of look at us from the meetings and conventions market. And we haven't really done this before in the past, but in pulling the group together, we wanted to do something sort of out of the box. So we are actually going to be showcasing ourselves and promoting ourselves under the hashtag Adventurous Meetings 80K. The theme will be used throughout the booth in the conference. We'll be doing that in pre and post social media promotions, and we'll be using that to activate interest for all the exciting and unique activities that we're going to be doing in the area for the meeting planners and how they can incorporate those into their meetings going forward. For new business and site visits, held a couple of site visits recently in the last couple of months, one for Adventure Travel Trade Association for their upcoming 2019 conference on adventure travel. They'll be making their decision hopefully for the hotel. We're expecting that this week. And then the Hemmings Car Show, their folks came in somewhere around mid-March as well. They'll be coming 15th through the 17th of September. It will be hopefully become an ongoing annual event for us down in Festival Commons. Both sites included coordination with local businesses, hotels, and a little bit of DEC for some of the logistics that they were looking for. On the PR and marketing side, I've been working with Amanda in our office for a number of marketing and PR initiatives that we've got sort of ongoing. Coordination of media and publicity for the May 5 through 7 Northeast Barbershop Quartet Competition, May 19th to 21st Law Enforcement Officers Competition, work with the Mayor's Office, with the organizers, getting some PR, helping them some press events, pushing out some of that on our social media channels as well. Advertorial in the Connect Association magazine for an April insert, ad design for Connect Association Digital Leaderboard, customized social media messaging and custom e-blast, which was sent to over 7,887 subscribers for the meetings and conventions market, 4,500 social media followers in their membership. So that campaign was digital. It ran about 2 weeks, targeted specifically the associations market and that meetings market. And in addition, Amanda and I are also finalizing images and text for the new Festival Commons brochure, which will also be digital, be going up on their website as well. So we hope to have that done this month, probably in the next coming weeks, actually. On the collateral side, printed pieces, I'm working with Smart Meetings magazine, and we hosted Jeff Paulusner, who is their rep, their local rep, at the April CVB meeting. So we'll be working with Jeff. Some of you may be aware in the hotels with our partners to create a co-op insert for the November New York edition of Smart Meetings magazine. So the magazine's distributed to about 52,000 meeting planners and will also be featured as an insert digitally to over 80,000 meeting and conventions folks, meeting planners, professionals across their website. So really great reach. Looking to do this as a co-op piece, and we'll also be negotiating with these folks to have it as a standalone that we'll be having as collateral, so to be able to bring to marketplaces, meetings, share with our hotel partners as well. On the sports side, sports tourism continues to be one of our big focuses. It's where the money is. It's where the next big things are up and coming. $10.47 billion industry across the U.S. There's definitely money to be made there for sure. So in looking at that, we did have a couple of great PR things that happened for us for the ongoing conversations with regards to the Sports Commission planning. I did speak with the Glens Falls Business Review, which ran an article on March 10th, and then was on Book TV with Jeff Mead from the Glens Falls Civic Center, and we did a little interview back in the middle of April. So our next Sports Commission meeting will be on May 10th. It is a planning meeting. We're still a lot of balls in the air, still a lot of pieces to put together, a lot of funding that needs to get put together, but it is a great way for these venues and for folks in the area to really talk about how this industry and how this market is going to be important to us going forward.
We get the volleyball.
Yes, we did get the volleyball, and actually that's where I'm going next. Speaking of sports, want to give you an update actually right now on volleyball. Queen of the Lakes update. So you led right into that, so thank you. This weekend, actually, EVP kicked off their Pro-Am tour, their national tour in Bradenton. As you can see here, they had a fantastic weekend. They had great weather, a fantastic turnout. They were sold out. They featured the 2006 Brazilian gold Olympic medalist, Rodrigo Saunders. And as you can see here, this just shows a little bit pulled off of Instagram, some of the feeds that we were able to showcase ourselves. We have our banners, our courtside banners, so you can see on the Instagram. Actually, it was up on theirs. We took it on our feed, our Instagram feed for the CVB Chamber, and put it up on ours. The second one you can see in the background, and actually I have a better picture of that in the next slide. You can see our banner in the background, and then the third shows the gold medalist there. So if you can see my arrow, we are showcased right here to show the fact that we will have our courtside banner prominent in 18 locations across the U.S. You know, again, notice the positioning of the courtside banner promoting Lake George. In addition to the social media clips, we have completed the poster with them, so those will be available for distribution as well. We finished the final version of the Queen of the Lakes Pro-Am event logo, so that has been completed. The web banner, thank you Peter for designing that, is featured on their website and does have a direct link to our website for additional information on the event, as well as the registration for the event itself. And then we've added hotel partners to their website, so this is just a partial listing of all the folks who did put in bids and proposals to host for, and those bookings should be happening pretty soon. So an update in terms of what is going on and what happened this past weekend. It was a great event. Best competition for the pro men's and women's. They had some of the most they've ever seen in probably the last 10 years, according to their event organizer, who I talked to this morning. So they were at full capacity. They're currently using a live time leaderboard as part of their Rocket Volleyball program for live scorekeeping. So no matter where you are, you can click into the live leaderboard and know exactly, you know, how your family member is doing, your athlete, your team member, whomever. But it's all live, and you know which court they're playing on. So this is all brand new for them. They just launched. And then seeing some really great promotions on Instagram and Facebook with links to Lake George, Chamber CVB social media feeds as well. And we're going to keep that ongoing in terms of building that buzz, building that promotion, really talking it up so that we can start building our own event over the course of the next couple of months. So in terms of where we are, we currently have 8 men's and 8 women's pro teams registered and signed up, 16 out of 24. We have 10 men's and 10 women's amateur teams registered for a total of 20 out of 60 already registered. And mind you, we're only May 1st. We still have June and July, and they will start coming faster. Sponsorships for the events are going well. We've got about 3 or 4 local sponsors for this event already lined up. The courtside banners you already saw earlier at the national stops. And then social media promotion will continue, and then we'll be starting to turn around and do a little bit more PR. We've had a couple of press events. We'll continue to roll out some more of those as it gets closer to the event and to the first-time event. So also be reaching out to some local volleyball teams. I've already had some conversations with some of the high school volleyball folks as well. So lots of great things going on, but ultimately to push this out and to really make this, a really good return on our investment. We've put that money in. We've asked for OCTAX money for this. We're starting to see the buzz, and we really want this to be a, blow the doors off of anything we can see event, because it will be coming back hopefully for 3 years. So we really want this to really be a big, great event for Lake George, the area, and I really think that we've got some great opportunity here. A couple quick notes. The CVB meeting, the next one will be at Dunham's Bay on May 25th at 9 o'clock. For anybody who would like to attend, you are all more than welcome. The Sports Commission planning meeting will be on May 10th. If you'd like to attend that as well, it's open door. You're welcome as well. And I will open it up for questions. Lots of information. 8 pages.
All right, okay. I'm sorry, Rachel.
I just wanted to know, I went to your sports authority meeting, and I thought that was so informative. I learned a lot, and I know I've had a chance to talk with Dennis about some of the things I took away from regarding occupancy tax, but just the information, and I am continually impressed by how far our dollar is going to bring back in these events. So for those of you that haven't made it, try to make one of them. It's really
It's, we are at the very beginning stages of this. I mean, it could be an authority, it could be an advisory board. I mean, it's starting really as an advisory board, using the research and the knowledge from the venues to find out what they have currently coming in, how can we help them from the CVB standpoint, how, going to the marketplaces, sport marketplaces, Connect Sports, NASC, Sport Relationship Conference, and these kinds of marketplaces, bringing in those leads, redistributing them back out. How do we grow this business? Sports are year-round. We talk about 365. How do we grow 365? I was talking with Emily earlier about bringing Spartan Race for the winter. Had a great conversation with that person at NASC. So he's really interested, in building into those shoulder seasons and those areas, those blocks where we really could use additional, funnelings of money and drive economic drivers. That's really where sports are going to start backfilling those areas for us, because not just youth sports, but even amateurs and pros play year-round. So we have great opportunities and great assets here, without a doubt.
All right, anybody else? Any other crowd open to the public? Any questions? All right, motion to adjourn. Montasia, Matt, all in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned. Thank you.